What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay. Another end of another day. Another end of another day. Crazy. Sounds weird. But anyway, okay. Today, basically couldn't trade, right? Yeah, we don't have electricity, but welcome to Saudi. And so I'm just basic. I'm just gonna do a recap slash what happened, right? Because I was not actively on the chart, so we'll see. Starting off with USD CAD, might as well do it in a semi top down style, right? Starting with the 4 hour here. USD CAD, right? Okay. 4 hour bullish, right? 4 hour bullish comes down. 4 hour reaches the swing low, starts pushing up, right? And this is kind of an IBOS in here, not the clearest, but it actually is one, right? A 4 hour IBOS there, but I'm not gonna put in the internal of the 4 hour and whatnot. This is just for the visuals right now. I don't need the visual, but I can see it, right? Okay, 4 hour internal is bullish, right? Which makes sense. The 4 hour did come to the swing low, which means the 4 hour could now be primed to continue with swing higher, right? So obviously you should be looking for buys within USD CAD, right? And then when you get to PYs like this one, you would expect a reaction, right, of some sort, because this did actually help push it lower, right? But this did not do its job, which was to create a U low, which means this is weak. So selling from here is obviously not advised, right? Rather look for the buys. And then USD CAD on the M15 tells a similar tale, right? Yesterday we did have the 15-minute break of structure there. I think this pullback is enough to define as a swing high over here. Really, it is a little bit discretionary, but it sort of is enough. And then from yesterday, you would have had this as an internal break, right? Which would have meant the high is here, and then this would have been an internal break of this here, and then this is the internal low right there. 15-minute internal low. This can be defined as the internal high. 15-minute internal high. We didn't pull back deep into this 15-minute. See a little bit in there. Probably make a better 1 hour PY in here in terms of pivot, right? Like this here. Way better on the 1 hour. Again, you would have had this as a pullback, tested there on the 1 hour, pivot again on the 1 hour here. So on the M15 coming into today, right, this would have still been bearish, coming into here would have looked for the break of this. This does not look like it's enough. You need a more convincing break than that. I would have been looking for the break of this, which would have indicated a sweep of the internal high, and if this held and came down, I would have been looking for a proper break here and then a retest into the to continue lower. That would have been my outlook, because the not the 1 hour, yes, it hit this 1 hour POI, but it didn't come into the 50%, I believe. Let's do a quick check. Yeah, we didn't come into the 50% of the entire leg, so still would have been okay to look for sells within here, right? If given that you had the correct entry criteria, but we did not get that, and then it sweeps up, right? Obviously you could have looked for something in there, but this was not convincing enough of a POI in there, and then it just wobbles on about, because for me this is not a solid break for me to look for sells like previously stated here. And then right here, after this break over here, maybe you can look for sells over here, maybe. Only issue is that you probably come into the 50% of this leg here, so this becomes lower probability. It can work out at times, right? Not especially if you're not looking to go past this internal low, maybe just a little bit past this, maybe it works, but chances are it does not work. So I think overall, not the best of price action, no real opportunity in there. So yeah, I don't think I would have had a trade in there anyway. Let's go to EURJPY. Oh shit, this is gonna be long. This is gonna be long, but it is what it is, man. Gotta do what you gotta do, man. You gotta pay the price, right? This finally broke out of this annoying rage just in. Say this is an IBOS for argument's sake, right? But we can see it's out of this little range it was in. So for argument's sake, you say it's the IBOS. It was bearish, right? Comes into the pivot right there on the swing, and obvious reaction is expected. So really what you want to see, even though this is technically not an IBOS here because it didn't create a high there, it's still a bit iffy. I don't think this helps in any way. Not good price action there. Not great. This does not look great, honestly. It's a little bit iffy. Gotta be very confident to make any specific play on this pair. This pair is just disgusting. Enggak. Ya? Ya nunca. Like 50 rand. Sorry. my bad. As I was saying, M15 bullish, right? Bullish M15, internal structure right there. We had a break, iffy, not the best in the world, right? But it's a break nonetheless, and then you would have it come up here, break. Ooh. Break up here, which in turn means swing low there, and then we have not broken that. This, yeah, I could consider this as swing high. Not too bad for swing high, I'd say. We did have a decent pullback, right? Many pips. I don't know how many pips, but many pips in there. What? 74 pips. I'd say that's enough, man. So I was here. 50-minute I was there. 15-minute internal high right here. And so coming into today, still would have had your IBOS there. Market opens, New York is around here, not New York, London. You would have had a IBOS up, alright? Would I have been interested in this POI here? Kind of interesting, but let's see, pros and cons, right? You would have just had your IBOS up. This was a reaction to here, but this did not do its job, so not the best flip in the world. And you have a chart here, 50-minute chart there, which means you would have looked for the M5 entry in there. Had I been convinced enough to take an M5 entry, there is no valid entry anyway, and then it goes up and then sells off, so nothing would have happened in there anyway. No great POI in here, no great POI down here as well. Like for POI to be quote unquote great, it's gotta be a pivot, man, right? It has to be a pivot. It has to be clear that this is where, oh shit, this is where momentum comes in, right? This is where the orders are. This is where it starts to move. There has to be like clear on that. So you'd probably be looking at like this 1 hour zone as a whole, and then all in all, obviously you want to look for a chalk as a minimum to show that this may start to move back up, and you did not get that, right? Instead, right now we just swept that. So tomorrow, maybe if we break up here, if we break this here, maybe we'll take it from there. Just see how it develops tomorrow. There's no need to get into the nitty-gritty right now. And then Euro USD. I'll start off on the 4 hour. Clearly, I also haven't looked at the daily in a long time. If the swing low is still there, yeah, daily has been stuck in a range for how many days? From the 6th of August. But are we in 6th of August? We're on the 3rd of September. We stuck in this range, but clearly some one here, man. Yeah. Maybe swing a bit more up. Okay, the 4 hour 4 hour has been stuck in this range like the daily, right? Basically market moving up from, oh wait, can use our burger analogy again. Who doesn't love a little fun action, man? Alright, buying from here, selling from up here, and then the problem is the middle, right? Not easy to play the middle, like we had discussed previously on Ready to Die, and previously on uh, uh, Euro JPY, I believe, which was stuck in a range for a little bit. This is also stuck in a range as of now. Maybe we need like Donald Trump dying or something to break out of the range. That could help, you know. Not wishing that on him, but like, it's just an example, man. Who could sneeze and this would break out the range. And so 4 hour looking choppity chop, right? Because it's stuck within here. This is still our internal low, which makes this the internal high, which means we are stuck. We are smooshed and washed in between these. And yeah, probably stay away, man. Just stay away. Just save the money. Don't waste the money on this sort of price action, because it's just stuck, man. Like, what can you do with this, man? Honestly, what can you do? Like, it's not much you can do with this. It's failing to break out of its own M15 minute. Okay, wait, M15 looks a little bit better because technically we have a break here. Even though it's tiny, but technically we have a break, man. And then the internal is clearly bearish. You know, had that boom switch up actually right there. You would have had it switch internally bullish right there, and then this would be the internal high. Internal high right there. And technically this is the low here, right? And we swept the low, sweep of the low here, come into the high, then what? You see, it's confusing, man. It's not the best. It doesn't look good in any shape or form, because what do you do, man? What do you do? Like, swing wise, you should obviously be looking for sells, but the internal right now is bullish. So if you were to wait for the internal to turn bearish, it would be here at that point, and at that point the swing low is right there. Then you need the confidence to say, yes, this will in fact break the swing low, which you don't know. This could end up holding. We're in a range, right? This could end up holding and going back higher. So we are in low probability territory, you know. So everything here is with a grain of salt. Yeah, I'll set an alert there. See tomorrow if it breaks that. Yeah, maybe we look for sells somewhere somehow. Today's price action though, he went down, swept the Asian low and the internal low, and then went up. Nowhere really to follow. You would have had a chalk there, which means on this M15 zone in here, M15 zone within here, you would have went to the M5 I can see from this no valid entry went up, then switches up again. Yeah, blah 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 blah. Iffy. Nothing good, man. Nothing good. Nothing looks good, honestly. As of now, nothing looks great, man. Nothing looks delicious. Nothing looks like it's primed for anything, honestly. It's times like these, man, you gotta just be a little bit extra patient and not lose money unnecessarily. Last and certainly not the least of all pairs, dollar pound is a good pair, man. Or pound dollar, it's a good pair, man. I respect it. It's not bad. So we have a 4-hour IBOS there. Let's get rid of this one. It should move the internal high over here. This is a little bit better, right? 4-hour is bearish, right? Internal is bearish. So okay, obviously now it's pushing up higher, but remember it only pushes higher, not only, but it could be pushing higher to facilitate this internal pullback into here. Unlikely, could turn anywhere within here, right? And then maybe continue lower. This is ouch. Wow. This looks a whole lot better than the other pairs, man. Other pairs just look nasty as fuck, man. These are not great trading conditions. Gonna have your swing high in there somewhere. In there somewhere, and then 15-minute bearish, of course. Internal is bullish, right? Remember the internal structure turns bullish to facilitate the M15-minute pullback, right? Facilitate pullback. Once pullback is complete, we then switch bearish again to continue the trend, right? So you'd be looking for something like that. In terms of any opportunities today, 15-minute internal low here. In terms of any opportunities today, I'm gonna jump right on and say no way, Jose. We had a little sweep there, 745. Should be on the charts around 8:30. Sweep lower, right? Nothing in here, I think. Because what would you have been buying in here? No sense. This obviously gets around, so you wouldn't be buying from here. You'd be looking for a chalk anyway, right? So this gets swept, market pushes higher, and then we get a flip, right? Flip the Nero. We get a little flip the Nero here on the M15 flip right there. Pushes higher, not really a POI in there, and then you have a chalk, so you would have looked for the M5, and this is really not a POI. The POI would have been here, so you don't get that. Market pushes higher, let it break there. So had you been looking to follow this from there, doesn't come back again, and then this, but the more it pushes higher, the iffier it gets. That would be like the entirety of the POI there. But at this point, with such a big POI, you definitely would want to see a chalk first, like down, up, down, and then after the sweep of this, right, then you look for the rise. So this one we are waiting for development as well. Nothing will have been valid today again, so not the best price action these past few days, but not complaining, man. Just gotta stay patient. Yeah, that's it, man. Peace.